A new Wordle puzzle is online. Click on the link to play.
Listening to the following video may give you clues. Please like and share the videos.
Star Trek Strange New Worlds Season 1 Episode 1 The Spool, The Premiere, and Kirk. If you want to know more about Star Trek Strange New Worlds, you've come to the right place.
In this article, I'll discuss the Spool, the Premiere, and Kirk. If you haven't seen the series yet, check out my review. It's filled with spoilers, so be sure to leave a comment at the end. Happy viewing! Here are my thoughts on the latest episodes.
Star Trek Strange New Worlds. The first episode of Star Trek Strange New Worlds begins with a lot of setup, but it doesn't drag with expository duties.
It picks up with the characters from Discovery, with Captain Pike and Spock in Montana. Spock is engaged to a Vulcan woman, and Number 1, a workaholic first contact mission leader, is on a mission on a different world.
The episode opens with an unknown alien species observing a Starfleet ship on a first contact mission. Meanwhile, Captain Pike prepares breakfast for his friend, the captain with benefits.
But before he can begin his mission, he is informed that Number 1 is missing. Meanwhile, Spock is on a date with T'Pring on Vulcan.
A new character, Cadet Nyota Uhura, joins the team. She's a linguistic prodigy, and has survived a prison camp environment.
However, her first mission on the new Enterprise was a disaster, and her fate will not be the same. Meanwhile, the crew tries to prevent her capture by a different alien species.
After the crew is taken to the planet's planetary nursery, the Enterprise must find a way to stop her. The episode begins with Pike meeting the leader of the Kylene government.
The leader's plan to end the Civil War is met with resistance, and Spock advises him to prepare for a fight. The Enterprise's warp signature is a result of a warp bomb, not a drive.
Later, Pike realizes that he's responsible for the situation and sends everyone back to the ship except him and Spock. The Spool.
The Spool in Star Trek Strange New Worlds Season 1 opener is a fun way to kick off the series, as it gives viewers a taste of what to expect from the rest of the series. In a time when many Star Trek franchises have gone in a different direction, Strange New Worlds looks to go back to its roots.
Its long-term mission to explore the cosmos has been the basis for previous series, and the crew of the USS Enterprise has changed a lot, but the core of the series remains the same. It feels like the most Star Trek in decades.
In the first episode of Strange New Worlds, the crew of the Discovery has traveled to the 32nd century to stop AI control from destroying the universe. While this has been an epic adventure for the crew, they left behind many scars.
Spock and Captain Christopher Pike are both grieving for the loss of their sister Michael Burnham, and Number 1 is a workaholic on a first contact mission. The aliens of Disco S2 are back and have figured out how to use the warp.
Meanwhile, Pike, a fan of old science fiction, remains on the planet with Spock. Pike tells him to take me to your leader.
Premiere. Having a lot of nostalgia for Star Trek is good.
While previous series have strayed from the original mission statement, Strange New Worlds feels the most like Star Trek in decades. In addition to the familiar characters, the USS Enterprise's uniforms are updated for the 21st century.
The opening credits are a love letter to the original Enterprise, reimagined with modern technology and best practices. The first episode of Strange New Worlds opens with the crew of the Enterprise in a first contact mission.
The crew has voice-activated communicators, built-in transporter buffers, and more. It also introduces technology that would be very unusual until the next generation era.
Though Star Trek has a rich history of science fiction, the creative teams of Strange New Worlds aren't bound by the formulas that preceded it. Spock's new companion, Lieutenant Samuel Kirk, has a secret.
He knows the true nature of the warp. But how do we know for certain? Well, let's find out.
The warp signature of Kylene 279 is not from the warp drive, but from a warp bomb that he and his crew discovered. Apparently, Kylene 279 is at war with itself.
In addition to the introduction of new characters, the series also deals with darker topics. The series Pike has a haunted past that makes him uncertain of his fate.
The future of the crew depends on the current fighting and whether it leads to a eugenics war or World War III. While the show is stretching canon, it does offer a new direction for Spock's character.
He has to decide between duty and matrimony, and he has to deal with it while balancing his life and career. In addition, the episode has several humorous moments.
Kirk. The first teaser for Star Trek: Strange New Worlds has been released, and it looks like Paul Wesley will play James T.
Though no official name has been announced yet, fans can expect the character to appear on the show sometime during the second season.
The first season featured an unnamed Lieutenant Kirk, played by James T. Kirk himself, and it's not entirely clear when the character will make his first appearance.
The season's first episode of Strange New Worlds carries a lot of setup, but doesn't drag with excessive expository duty. We return to familiar faces from the previous season, with Captain Pike and Spock in Montana, where the latter is getting engaged to a Vulcan woman.
Meanwhile, Number 1 is a workaholic on a first contact mission and seems to be having trouble keeping up with Spock. While the storyline of the series is somewhat traditional, the show also includes plenty of splicing to allow the crew to survive in the harsh environment.
Kirk is not as naive and careless as he was during the original series. The crew, especially Kylie, is a big highlight of this episode.
Kylie's character is just as intriguing as Kirk. Spock's reaction.
The opening scene of Strange New Worlds introduces an alien species to the crew of the USS Enterprise. It's a first contact mission for the Enterprise, and there is a lot of setup.
But thankfully, the episode doesn't drag on too much with the expository duties. The episode then picks up with the characters from the Discovery, including Spock and Captain Pike.
They are in Montana, where they are engaged to be married, while Number 1 is a workaholic on a first contact mission. Spock's reaction to the Spool in Star Trek Strange New Worlds is a great example of how he interacts with different people.
As a member of the crew, Spock is very much invested in the well-being of his crew. This reflects his interest in learning about the other races, and it also shows his underlying commitment to Starfleet duty.
This episode also explores the philosophical ideas behind Beef, and Star Trek is famous for its aspirational storytelling.
This series is full of hope and optimism, but it also offers a dark warning. The future of the human race is uncertain and dangerous. While many people in the Star Trek fan community will enjoy this episode, viewers should keep in mind that it contains some major spoilers and is a welcome introduction to this new branch of the franchise.
Kirk's chemistry with Spock. The chemistry between Kirk and Spock in Star Trek Strange New Worlds is on top form.
This new series is focused on their chemistry, and it's not just the obvious chemistry that is on display. Several other aspects of the new series are also noteworthy.
While most of the cast is familiar, there are some surprises in store, including a body swap and a blossoming love triangle. And don't forget that the episode features a hilarious Shirley farce.
The show's origins date back to the original Star Trek pilot, which debuted in 1965. The show also introduced Captain Pike, Mr.
Spock, and the mysterious Number 1. Anson Mount, who played the original Star Trek pilot, reprises his role as Pike in this season's The Spool.
In the episode, the Enterprise is called upon to find the missing first officer of a Federation-based spaceship. One episode borrows from dozens of earlier Star Trek episodes, including the classic Apollo and Babylon 5.
In one particular episode, Pike's character, Christopher Pike, is hollowed out and stricken by a vision of his own death. He wonders if his actions are really important.